Hello YouTube. I'm getting ready to dehydrate some small chicken chunks and I thought I would bring you along for the journey. I have diced my raw chicken into small chunks. I want to be able to use this in soup mixes. So I have it in small chunks. And I want to add a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of salt, but not too much. This is kosher salt. And I'm just going to stir that together. Mix that pretty well. Then I'm going to use this nonstick pan so that I don't add any extra oils. Remember, the more fat that you have in a dehydrated product, the shorter the shelf life. So I'm just going to saute this off. And when you're using a nonstick pan, you do not want to use that on high heat, or else you could have some problems with the chemicals burning off from the nonstick coating. You want to keep that at a medium heat. So this is going to take a little while. Once I'm done sauteing it, I'll show you the next step. My chicken is cooked through, and I made sure that I cooked just about every bit of water that came out of the chicken, but I didn't want it to be dry, or I didn't want to brown that, so I want to put this into soup mix. And then, since these pieces are so small, I can't use the rack as it is, because as the pieces become dehydrated, they'll fall right through the rack. So I'm going to use the fruit roll-up tray. You could use, if you have a screen, an herb screen, that would work wonderfully too. But since I just have a little bit of chicken, probably will have 2 trays, and this should work just fine, even though there's not a lot, there's less airflow circulation because of the fruit roll-up tray that I'm using. Alright, I wound up with 3 trays of chicken cubes, and I wouldn't recommend drying too many trays at once if you're going to use a tray that is solid, because your airflow is going to be diminished quite a bit. Now you could use this type of a screen and it would work pretty well. Okay, now I'm just going to pop the lid on. I have my temperature set at 145 degrees, and I'll let this go for 2 to 3 hours, and I'll come back and check it, and I'll stir the chicken, because the chicken's going to stay moisture what's sitting against that plastic, so I want to come back and stir that up. My chicken has been dehydrating for 2.5 to 3 hours, and it's drying down very nicely. I'm going to remove one of the trays and combine the chicken onto 2 of the trays, since there's been plenty of shrinkage now. And I'm also going to turn my thermostat down to about 125 and let this finish dehydrating. Now when I dehydrate my chicken, I like to make sure that it's very, very dry, because I want to be able to set it on a shelf and have a long shelf life and not worry about it. So this is what it looks like after it's dehydrated. It turns dark, and it's very hard. And then I like to use this in for soup with using a slow cooker, and I can just dump all this dehydrated food into a slow cooker with some chicken broth and wind up with really good soup at the end. And hopefully I'll have a chance to show you that at another time, but not right now. I'm trying to get chicken done up right now. My daughter's going off to college soon, and this is something she can take with her. It's portable and easy for her to deal with. She can just dump it in a slow cooker and come in the evening and there can be a meal.